Welcome to Unfiltered. Another week's gone by. The Super Tuesday has gone by. Big winners were Trump is still winning. Hillary won a lot. Bernie won a few. Rubio won a couple. Cruz won one. Again, they're all the same. And the morning that I taped this show, last Thursday, the Romney made a big speech, hacking away at the Donald, you know? I'd like to say a lot of things. It's just we only have a half an hour here, folks. It's happening exactly like I said it 4 or 5 episodes ago. The Republican Party wasn't going to let Donald Trump into any of the debates. And before the first debate, they made him promise that he would abide by the rules and the outcomes of the primaries. And at the end, because they all assumed he was going to lose, at the end, when he didn't get the nomination, he was to promise that he would not run a third-party campaign in the general election. Now that the Republican Party has been caught completely unaware of how the majority of us people, remember, we the people, now that they found out exactly how we feel, they're all mad and upset and trying to find every way they can to derail Trump off the platform. I don't know. Maybe they'll even stoop to murder. Wouldn't surprise me a bit if all of a sudden Trump gets knocked off to get him out of the race. Lord, we can't have somebody like this. Romney says Trump is playing us Americans for fools. I don't believe it, not in the least. I know exactly who Trump is. And that's why I'm voting for him. All these other candidates, they will never let you know who they really are. That's the point. Donald Trump comes out and says, hey, look, I'm an ass. And again, like Bill Clinton, who basically did the same thing, we ate it up. We went, you know something? There's a man that speaks what he thinks, and that's what we like. We like it when people speak what they think. And no, he's not perfect. You know, unlike Hillary and Bernie Sanders. You know? But we know he's not perfect. And if you've got any kind of logical brain in your head at all, you'll know that nobody is perfect. And it's not about the presidency. Yes, ooh-wee, I get to use some executive power. Yeah, but there's only so much you can use and for only so long before people will have you hanged for treason. It's a lot further than it used to be because Obama's, pushed it way out. Apparently the commander-in-chief can't be charged with being a criminal and destroying the Constitution because that's his job, is to tear apart the Constitution. So what I'm saying, people, is yes, The Trump is Trump. He's a wheeler and a dealer and a liar and a thief and probably a whole bunch of words that I can't say here on this TV show because it airs at 7 o'clock at night. He's probably all those things. But he admits that he's those things. And none of those things matter when it comes down to being president. When it comes down to being president, the job is to run America. That's it. And I don't think Trump is worried about the kind of cereal I eat and the sugar content of the cereal I eat, or whether I eat stuff that's grown in chemicals or stuff that's grown in crap, which is called organic, by the way. If you ever wondered what organic means, that's what it means. Grown in crap. Natural fertilizer, that's what crap is. I'm just saying, drives me nuts. The whole political thing, you know. And the problem is I can't just up and move to another country because you can't just go into another country and start living. Jesus. Otherwise, yeah, I'd be trying to get the hell away from here before anybody was elected president. Place has been going downhill for years. We slowly sell out because over the course of, again, I'm going to lead right into this, because of the course of the education system over the past 50 years, greed. Everybody is greedy and they have to have more than the other guy. And again, only so many people can be up here. For every person that's up here, there's 10 people that are down here. Remember that. The key is for the people up here to directly help the people down here. We don't need government programs. We need somebody that's got $1 billion to walk around in a town and give homeless people $100 or $1,000. And not just homeless people, but maybe walk around in a lower middle class family, in a lower middle class neighborhood where both parents have to work and they have to have childcare, or their shifts are split. And give them $1,000. Tell them they can take a day off from work to spend with their kids. That's what'll make America great, is when the rich people actually start interacting with the poor people. Don't use the government as a middleman, because the government just takes their cut like every other nonprofit does. All right, I'm going to get into some Facebook stuff because I had some comments from last week's show and it was on the education stuff. So I'm going to keep going with that. First of all, I quoted a movie. I was talking about the movie where the kid got arrested in Turkey. And Mark corrected me on Facebook and said the movie was Midnight Express, not Midnight Run. And I went, that's right. Midnight Run was something different. It was a wacky comedy kind of a thing, I think. So yeah, but he thought it was a good anomaly to what I was saying. Yeah, I thought, it points out other countries don't recognize our Constitution. If we're in another country, we don't have constitutional rights. If somebody comes to this country, until they're a citizen, they don't have constitutional rights. That's what I'm saying. Okay. The other thing Mark weighed in on was the education thing. I was talking about, the the amount of learning opportunities on the internet. And Mark says DIY is all fine and good. The thing the children would miss by taking classes online is the social interaction with other children, which if they didn't have would most likely cause other mental and social problems down the line. So I am all for the brick and mortar, and not just because I work at such an institution, but because I believe it's important to society for such interaction. Very true, Mark. Kids definitely need work on their interpersonal skills. I'm not sure they're really getting it in school now. Because kids aren't great communicators. Hold on, Mark. Let me pop over to my messages, because I got a message on this subject too. From somebody I don't even know. It's kind of scary sometimes, but I don't think she's dangerous or anything. Oh, where is my note? Here we go. Okay. The message came at 8:15 last Tuesday night, which was, half an hour after the show finished. She said, "Hi, daughter. Hi, Rick. My daughter got me a set of Nautical by Nature CDs for my birthday, and I love them. Thank you." You're welcome. Little plug, that's my other show here on Cheshire TV. It was on right before this one. So I'll catch it next week. She says, also, I caught your Unfiltered show tonight. And in parentheses, she put, "You crack me up." Which, good, I'm glad, because, that's what I'm here for. If you can't laugh once in a day, then your life is completely horrible. And I can't help you at all. She says, but seriously, the education thing, you really made some great points, logical thinking. When my girls were younger, they were bullied, and because of it, I homeschooled for a couple of years. I got my hands on everything I could for curriculum, and that scored well for their records. Oh, God, I hate this computer. It was the best times we had together. Great memories, and even rented a house down in Wellfleet for a month. It took about 3 hours a day to get through all their work. Like you said, I made their meals and snacks, never had to worry about snow days. They had breaks or recesses. We took field trips. To your point, Mark, they joined a homeschool group so kids and parents could get together for parties and outings and games, social interaction stuff. We always knew where they were and who was with them, no negative influences. Today, that would take care of shootings in schools as well as saving money, like you said, by sending teachers to school. Also, teachers would be available for tutoring. There was something else that she said. Oh, she said back when she was homeschooling her kids, the internet wasn't as prevalent, and all of her materials, she actually searched out the old-fashioned way. Which, again, I've got a good buddy that him and his ex-wife homeschooled the kids. He was a corporate safety engineer, safety guy. I don't think he's an engineer, but smart cat. Anyway, they homeschooled their 3 girls. And I've got to tell you, at 13 and 14 years old, those kids were some of the smartest kids I knew. And they had responsibility. They had a little bit of work ethic. Because it wasn't just schoolwork that they did at home. They did schoolwork, and then they did chores. They had a couple of horses and some chickens, and it was up to the girls to take care of those animals. From everything. Watering the horses, doing the hay, shoveling the muck, taking care of the chickens, gathering the eggs. It's a chore. But let me tell you, if those girls cooked a breakfast, a bacon and eggs breakfast, and put it out in front of you, they were proud because those eggs were all them. That's right. They took care of the chickens, they raised the chickens, they gathered the eggs, and if they cooked the breakfast, it was all them. Other than the actual laying the thing. So yeah, homeschool, every single thing in life is a lesson. Just waiting for you to learn it. Some people don't learn so fast, other people learn real fast. And the cool thing about learning in life is that there are consequences. If you score a F in a school class, oh, big deal, you got an F, better luck next time. But if you score a F for a full quarter at your job, guess what? You're probably not going to have a job anymore. So if you're making decisions, in school, if you make a decision, I'm gonna skip a couple classes, I'm gonna skip school one day. What are they gonna do to you? They're gonna give you maybe detention, keep you after school. Maybe they'll suspend you for a day of school, so you're gonna lose a couple days of school. If you just up and make the decision to not go to a job one day, guess what? Chances are you're probably fired. There goes your job. And if you've been at your job for years and decisions have consequences. There's responsibility, work ethic. I think the work ethic of our youth today stinks. Nobody wants to work. They all think they're too smart to work. Or too important to work. So they go to work and they spend most of the day like this. And you tell them to do something and they look at you like you're interrupting something important. Problem with homeschooling these days is excuses. I said it, excuses, and that's exactly what they are. Some of the excuses we can't really help because the government has brought on a lot of this thing. And maybe it's the government's plan. Maybe they want your kids in a government institutionalized setting from the time they're 2 years old, and they have to have preschool now. Oh my God, your kid will fail in life miserably if you don't have preschool now. We need to get them at 2 years old in order to make a difference. Maybe that's what the government wants. So they've created all these economic boundaries so that it's pulled both parents out of the house. Parents are like, yeah, we both have to work. We can't afford a babysitter. Yes, please put them in school. Because somebody will be babysitting them. And if we can get a handle on the economy, so at least one parent could be home with their kids, teaching their kids, then things would be a lot nicer and a lot less expensive. But it's a government plan. It's something that the government has been working. You have to look at the beginning of formal education in this country was just after the Industrial Revolution. Because they wanted to Actually, it was probably in the years leading up to the Industrial Revolution, because that was all planned out too, you know. And when the Industrial Revolution hit, America and these corporations wanted people that knew how to that they could form into society. And with all the indoctrination through all these schools, they taught you to be on time, to where to be, and what to do, and where to learn, and what to learn, and how to act, and so you were basically steam fit right into a nice manufacturing job back in those days. They wanted people who were just smart enough to do the jobs on the assembly line, but not too smart to realize that they were getting the shaft end of the stick on this assembly line. See how it works? Through all of the tools at their hands, the government actually puts us where they want us. Common Core. Time to change the thinking of all the children in the country and lead them the way we want them to lead. Yeah, every kid wants to be a CEO. Sorry, kids. All we've got is trash pickup jobs here. But guess what? If you get really, really, really good at it, someday maybe you'll make as much as the CEO. Or someday maybe you'll be the CEO of the trash pickup crew. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I definitely believe in alternative education. For one, in part, because I was never really good in school. But you know, when I was a kid, when I was 14, 15, 13, 15, 17, in that age range, I loved being in the wilderness. I loved hiking and climbing rocks and doing all this stuff in the wilderness. And back then, I could tell you, you know, what you could eat and what you couldn't eat in the woods. These days, I'm lost because I haven't thought about those kind of skills for a long time. And it all came down to people back then telling me, you can't make a living hiking and camping and climbing rocks and doing all that stuff. I don't know. Then again, maybe I should have just stuck with it. Nope, I started smoking instead, you know, and hanging out with my friends in school. And, you know, my parents didn't know what I was doing when I was at school or if I was at school, or both my parents worked. I learned, though, not to go home because I went home one afternoon at lunch and the old man was home for lunch. He never went home for lunch. Got my ass kicked. And that's what should have happened, because I was skipping school. I made the decision, I got the consequence. Right upside the head. I deserved it. And he kept trying to get me to fight him. I didn't want to fight him. I was 16 years old. I wasn't ready to move out of the house yet. All right. We got about 3 minutes left, so I know you love the crazy facts. Let's start with some animal facts. It's possible to lead a cow upstairs but not downstairs. A cat has 32 muscles in each ear. Yeah, more muscles in a cat's ear than we've got someplace. It's a good one. And I didn't know this. A duck's quack doesn't echo, and no one knows why. we know there's global warming. Climate change, but we don't know why a quack won't echo. Cat's urine glows under a black light. That's pretty interesting. I thought I had one more. Animal one. I guess I don't. 100% of lottery winners do gain weight. That's interesting. Come on. The average lifespan of an eyelash is 5 months. Yeah. So don't worry if occasionally you see eyelash on your pillow. It doesn't mean you're going bald or anything. They only last about 5 months, and then new ones grow. There you go. I was talking about the food sources and the government telling me what to eat, and organic stuff and everything else. Every acre of American crops harvested contains 100 pounds of insects. Just so you know. And if you think our leaders are crazy, Prince Charles is an avid collector of toilet seats. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Can you guess what the most common street name in the United States is? Nope, it's 2nd Street. I just assumed all you people said 1st Street. Nope, it's 2nd Street. Maybe some of you got it right. Tehran is the most expensive city on earth? Well, yeah, look at all the money we dumped into it. I'm not sure. No, wow. I believe that Poland is socialist, right? Oh man, I gotta go. Poland is the stolen car capital of the world. I don't know. Till next week, I'm Rick Blood. This is Unfiltered. Peace.